上、日産マーチターボ、日本初4シリンダー 1000cc ターボ。街でハートは加速する。日産マーチターボ。
今全車一新ニューマーチ、見つけてください、あなたのマーチ。
Buongiorno. Right, so this is my 1988 K10 Micra. Bought this about 4 years ago, managed to buy it from a guy who was going to turn it into an autograss car. I'm glad I saved it because it's actually in really good condition. Now, I've got many projects sort of lying about down the side here and across the fence. Now, I actually wanted one of these for my very first car. In fact, I actually made a Photoshop of what I wanted my first car to look like. Now, I actually found that on Google Images the other day, so I'll pop that up on the screen now for you to look at. But yeah, I really wanted one of these for my first car, so I've actually saved this car for a point in my life where I've maybe lost a bit of my creativity, maybe feeling a bit down. It's a rainy day, and that time has come. So as you can imagine, over the years I've had loads of ideas of how I want my K10 Micra to look like. So I'm going to show you and explain what we're going to do to this K10 Micra over the next few months. But before we do that, we'll just sort of just go over the car now and just look at the condition it's in now, so we've got something to come back at a later date as a reference point to hopefully where the car's going to be going and how it's going to look when it's finished. So exterior wise, we have got this chalky red horrible factory paint job. Obviously we've had some sort of patchwork done on the back end here. You can feel a lip in the paint, but the driver's side panel wise is actually extremely straight, good condition. We've obviously hit something down there at some point which has caused that to bend in a bit, but hopefully I'm going to have something to cover that if I can find the right bumper for the car. We've got these little 12-inch wheels with these rather pathetic tyres. The back end is pretty tidy, the bumper's pretty mint, the valance is also really tidy. Even the factory sticker's in a reasonable condition for its age. And then down the passenger side is when we start to come into a bit of body damage. At some point we've obviously brushed something along here which has caused this panel to have a couple of dents in it. Now I think hopefully we can get some to come out and pull this out straight, and then with a bit of filler work and everything we can get that looking absolutely immaculate. And we've scraped down something down the door this side, but again hopefully if we take this to a body shop we can get them to make that looking brand new. So following on from the damage of the passenger side, we're going to need to source a new wing. hopefully you can see how badly damaged that wing is, which then brings us to this front passenger corner. Obviously we've hit something at some point, so the bumper is scrap. We're going to need to source a new side light. Luckily I've got one upstairs. And then we're going to have to look at straightening the front panel to bring this headlight back square. But with all that being said, that's actually in a better condition than the Time Attack Micra was when we first bought it, and that's saying something, because that car is about 7 years newer than the K10. Interior wise, we've got this all brown, all tan interior with this like tweed looking finish on the seats. And I know what you're thinking, it's brown, it's tan, but I absolutely love the interior. It's actually one of the key things that I'm really keen on keeping. Now, I've seen some material that I like that I really want to retrim the interior in, and we'll go over that in detail shortly. Now, for the engine, we still have fitted the factory 1 litre MA10 carbureted engine, and we're going to keep that engine in there. Now, I did buy that little silver Honda FRV there to do like a real cheap K-swap on the little K10, but I've decided that I want to keep the car kind of pure, so I really want to keep the 1 litre, and I think we may keep the 4-speed gearbox for now anyway, because I believe the 4 speeds are pretty weak. So what plans have we got for the little K10 build? Well, not too long back I did a little Photoshop of what I wanted my K10 to look like. I'll put that on the screen now. So yeah, we're going to change the body colour to black. We're going to fit one of our devil wings onto the back. Wheels, I have got these 14-inch JR19s. That were the wheels that were used on the Time Attack Micra back in 2021 for our first season of Time Attack. I kept them this long because I knew they were the wheels that I wanted to put on there. Now hopefully you can see in the Photoshop, but there is a nice blue sticker which goes the length of the vehicle to sort of like an old 80s sort of sticker. Now if you can read that, that is going to give you a bit of insight to what we're going to do with the engine. Now for the engine, I wanted to do something a bit different. Now most of you are aware they did a super turbo version of these with a factory turbo supercharger and fuel injection. That's pretty cool, but the vehicles are also really expensive to buy these days. Thank you, Mighty Car. I kind of want to do my own thing with this. I know these engines aren't particularly strong, so we're not going to push the engine to destruction. So I do want to keep the engine carbureted still to keep it simple. I'm not going to fuel inject it or anything like that. Would be nice, but it's not the thing I'm going for with this particular build. Could put a set of bike carbs on there, but again, not really my thing. It's been done numerous amount of times. Now, I'm a particular man, and I know what I like, and what I like is boost. So the plan is we're going to use the old faithful AMR 500 supercharger. Now I'm not going to do this the same way we do our K11 kit and how the Time Attack car was set up back in 2021. I'm going to actually incorporate the supercharger as part of the inlet manifold, as it should be. That's how they run the best. And then for fueling, I picked up this Dcoe 40. So the plan is we're going to have this supercharger sort of as part of the inlet manifold. I would like to mount it on the top if possible, and then we're going to have this twin 40 Dcoe sort of out here somewhere, and we're going to have these like massive trumpets coming out. So yeah, supercharged carburetor. And if you go back to the picture of the Photoshop that we did of the car, supercharged Dcoe, and that is going to be our basis for the build. And then, as well as a slight bump in performance, we're going to make this engine bay absolutely immaculate. We're going to remove all unnecessary electronics. So the battery will bin off to the boot. This fuse and relay box will relocate out of the way. The coil will probably more than likely mount it on the gearbox somewhere, so there's no king leads going across the engine bay. All that will be smoothed and painted. We'll relocate this washer bottle to the boot out of the way. Stuff like the wiper motor, we're probably going to have to keep where it is, but we'll recover all the wiring loom in some nice cotton braid. We'll take this apart, we'll get all these parts zinc plated and put back on the car as is, and then we'll just go through all the fasteners on the engine bay, and again we'll just make everything all zinc plated, everything brand new. So when you pop this bonnet, you're just going to see the engine plopped in there, and you're going to be wondering how it works because you can't see any of the mess of all these hoses and wires and stuff everywhere. So again, really important to have a nice looking engine bay, and I think if we can get the supercharger and all the manifold and that polished as well, I think that's going to look pucker. And then I'm thinking of relocating this alternator down to the bottom where the aircon pump would be, and then we'll have this real nice curly manifold with these long primaries that curve and swirl over the engine bay, and just have this nice stainless steel manifold sort of like in a prominent position at the front of the engine. Now I've also prematurely sourced a Figaro turbo rocker cover, a nice little rocker cover in red that say turbo on it, and it's got this sort of like information graphics about the specifications of the engine. We've got a real neat idea about that, which we're probably going to have to finish towards the end of the build, but again we're going to video step by step the entire process of this build, so there's going to be a separate video on that. Suspension and wheels wise, you've already seen the wheels that we're going to be fitting, the JR19s. Suspension wise, we're going to fit one of our K10 coilover kits on there. We're going to sit in nice. We're also going to renew the axle. We've got a set of our trailing arms that we're going to put on there that we do, and I'm also going to look into a rear disc conversion. A lot of people have asked about a rear disc conversion for these ever since we did them for the K11s. That'll be a bit of development work for you, but also for my little beast. And then it goes without saying we're going to make a lovely exhaust system for it as well. Now as for the interior, a very important part when it comes to a nice show car-esque build. Now as you can see, we've got this lovely brown interior with the brown seat belts and the brown seats and the brown door cards and the brown dash and the brown carpet. And yes, I know what you're thinking, because I think it too. It looks fucking amazing, and the brown is definitely staying. We're going to do my best to try and bring this up to scratch. Now obviously we're painting the interior of the car black, and as you can see we've got some exposed paint there, some exposed metalwork. Now the brown clashes with the red, it doesn't really go. Now I think the brown on the black is going to make that pop a bit more, and it's definitely going to look loads better than it does with the red. Now if we can't get the interior up to a nice clean standard, I have seen some material that I really like the look of. It's a bit on the expensive side, but I think I could probably retrim most of the interior for less than like 300-400 quid. So not too bad, and again I'm pretty sure I can do that in-house. Seat wise, we have these factory tombstone seats. Now I have seen some brushed aluminium seats on eBay that I absolutely have fallen in love with. In fact, I'm so in love with them, I look at them like 40 times a day. In fact, I'll tell you what, here's a picture of them on the screen now. Yeah, I look at these seats and I love the dimpled eyes, I love everything about them. They do look uncomfortable as a bare aluminium seats, but I'm thinking that if I do retrim the interior, we'll get some strategic cushions made to go in certain spots on the seat to make it comfortable to sit in. I don't want to cover the entire seat. I really want the brown, the black and the brushed aluminium to sort of like gel together. I think it's going to look absolutely mint, especially from the back. Now the rear seats, I'm not decided what I'm going to do with the rear seats. I'm thinking of maybe we'll flat floor it, and then we'll use this material that I like the look of, and we'll just completely redo the flat floor with this material, and we can raise the flat floor and we can hide stuff like the battery underneath it and the washer bottle, so the interior looks nice and clean. Now as for the rest of the interior, we have got some pathetic speakers over there. Now I do like a bit of music when I'm driving, nothing too much, so it'd be nice to upgrade the audio so it's a bit nice to listen to. We have got a lovely tape deck there, and we'll replace that with something a bit modern. And then we've got this lovely steering wheel, which a lot of people seem to want off me for some strange reason. Unfortunately we have got to locate a new ignition barrel for it, and then we've got the factory cluster. So what I'm thinking with this is, for the factory cluster, is Haltech do a standalone IC7 dash, which is the exact same LCD screen that we've got in the K10 Micra. Now the thing about these screens is that they do make a standalone harness for them to work with carbureted cars, and this Sometimes comes with all the sensors and stuff, so it gives the dash all the correct readings for the engine. And I think the clash of keeping the old school carbureted engine and then just sort of like mixing the interior up with all these seats and all this trimming, and then just have a whopping great LCD Haltech screen there, I think will look pretty cool. So I might hit up the boys at Haltech and see if they want to get involved with that. If not, we'll probably just keep the standard clocks for now, unless we can find a Super S set which has got the rev counter in there. But again, we will see what we can sort over the following months. So I'm inviting you to come follow me on the journey of this K10 over the next couple of months. Now, I've set myself a little deadline, and that is retro rides gathering at Mallory Park in September. We are already going with the Time Attack Micra as part of the Quick 60 event, so we're going anyway, and it would be nice to go park this on a stand somewhere in retro rides with it all black with the supercharged Dcoe engine and aluminium seats and retrimmed interior. It's gonna look absolutely mega. So please, if you want to follow this journey, click that subscribe button. If you like what we're gonna do in the Micra, press that like button. And if you've got any suggestions or anything, drop a comment down below. And of course, as always, don't forget to share this video with your nan. And with that being said, we'll see you in the next video. I'm going to film it directly after finishing this segment here. So look forward to some fast and frequent updates on the K11. Again, any suggestions, pop a comment down below. We'll see you in the next video.